pressure, 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 pressure. Now fly, 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 fly. It's time, yes, it's time. It's time for ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Power. Power, power. Pressure, 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 pressure. Now fly, 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 fly. It's time, yes, it's time. It's time for ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Ready, 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 ready to paramotor live. To paramotor live.
Kevin Bacon once said, "There is a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to laugh, and a time to weep, a time to mourn, and a time to dance."
How do you write words to something that would describe a feeling that you can't explain?
Dude, look how bright that is. Dude, what is happening?
This is how religions are started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ready to Paramotor Live. David Wolf here with you, and we have an amazing show scheduled for you tonight. So much stuff. We're definitely going to run over an hour. I just don't know how far over an hour we're going to be, but it's going to be an amazing show. We've got Ryan Southwell on with us tonight. That was just some of the images that he has taken from a paramotor. Just world class when it comes to cinematography, with a paramotor, with his cameras, with his gimbals, and all of the stuff he doesn't want to tell you about, because then everybody would be doing it. But we got an amazing show. We've got a couple. We've got Gorilla's World of Wacky Flight Reviews. We got a couple of those tonight. We got a whole new segment we're going to be trying out tonight too. We're going to make this just more than just an interview. This is going to be an entertaining thing for you every other week on Ready to Paramotor Live. But that little segment too, interesting fun fact, that is exactly the segment we opened up a show with Ryan 4.5 years ago on Our Paramotor Nation. That exact same segment. Did you notice it said Zoom in the bottom corner? Yeah, we were still using Zoom back then for the shows. 4.5 years ago. That aired the week before the 2020 election. So a lot has changed in this world. A lot has changed. So we just got back from this little thing called the Bad Apples Flying. And of course, my co-host, let's start with one of them right now. Here he is, Tony Morales. Hey, Tony. Hello, Tony.
Good
Blink
evening.
once
Good evening.
if you can hear me. Blink twice if you're being. Hey, Tony. How was Bad Apples for you? What was your favorite moment or thing that you enjoyed with Bad Apples this year?
The show we put on, the stuff we gave away, the show that we gave at night, it was just amazing this year.
Yeah, it was a heck of a time, man. You know, I gotta say this. So the last couple of years, I was part of the planning committee, running around everywhere to make sure that flying was amazing. This year, I stepped away from it, and as a part of Ready to Paramotor, I think I worked twice as hard this year than the last 2 years combined. We were all over the place. We had some amazing meetings with a lot of different manufacturers. We've got some cool announcements I'll make one of those here in just a few minutes about one of the partners that we have going forward. But before we do that, I want to hear from my friend PPG Gorilla, Rick Davies. What's up, buddy?
What's up, everybody? Good evening.
This was our fifth Bad Apples fly-in. It was number 6, but it was our 5th fly-in overall.
It was awesome.
Yeah. What was your favorite part this year?
My favorite part was setting up and taking down all of that equipment, all of those tents and everything, and all the displays. It was awesome. I loved every bit of it.
I don't remember taking it down, but that's
my favorite part, as always, is doing tandems and sharing it with new people. We got to take some of the family of the local landowners around Bad Apples up for a ride to help make everything smooth with them. So it was a great experience, and thank God it didn't rain on us this year until like right when we were leaving. So it was awesome.
I think that last night you did 7 tandems. Tony and I were helping you set up and walking people on and off the field. And I remember you saying to some of the folks, "Hey, so where do you live? Point the direction. We're going to fly over your place."
Yeah, it was very cool. I couldn't have done it without you guys helping me set up and go. It was awesome.
Cool. All right, last is our other co-host, Matt Gregg, Ready to Paramotor president, CEO, and janitor. What's up, buddy?
How you doing tonight?
This was your first Bad Apples.
It was my first Bad Apples, but I tell you what, the relationships that we cemented there at Bad Apples, not only amongst us as a group, but with the community and getting to meet them, put faces to the names and meet everybody in the community was just an absolute amazing experience.
Yeah.
Honest and truly, before I went to Bad Apples, I understood community and paramotor, but not to that level. And I left there with a whole new, deeper understanding of the community and the bonds that people have. And just, it's exciting.
Awesome. 4 weeks ago when we were on the show last, you said the thing you were looking forward to most was flying over the rock quarry. Did that live up to your expectation, or was there something else that you saw that was more wow for you?
No, the whole thing was pretty well. 2 things were wow. So one, at Bad Apples, for somebody who's never been there before, when you see 400 pilots or even 200, I mean, I think at one point I counted like 270 paramotors in the sky. It's like a swarm of bees up there, it was pretty cool. But I did fly over to the rock quarry a couple of times. My last time there was really cool. I was about 40 feet behind another guy on a paramotor who was about 40 feet behind somebody else, and we were kind of down in there a little bit lower than ground level over the water. It was just for me, I haven't been a whole lot of places outside of Florida with a paramotor. It was a really great experience.
Now, this show is exciting for you for a whole nother reason, too. Ryan's going to be coming on. He's going to be talking about Egypt and flying in Egypt. You're going to be doing that in a couple months as well. So I know you're going to have a ton of questions for him. By the way, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. PPG Gorilla is going to do his best to answer or highlight some of those for you. But foot launching is a must when you go to Egypt. You just got your feet back underneath you this past weekend. How did that go?
Well, so when I got a little bit of war wounds, let's see. So I got this is to prove that I did go out there to do some foot launching. Getting in my seat was a challenge. I'm not used to that when I'm flying trike. But I had a lot of fun foot launching. It's probably where I need to be, but it's definitely where I need to be if I'm going to participate in Egypt Gate 7.
Absolutely. Okay. And then this weekend, the 4 of us have something very exciting. Tony, why don't you share with everybody what we are doing in just a couple days?
It's called SIV, which is something new to me.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about stalling wings, throwing reserves. And me and Matt look at each other. We kind of like very scared.
So we are going up to Skylab. Andy Fuller. I'm not sure how much we're going to do as far as the full SIV. I think we're just going to do a small abbreviated. I know one of the things that Andy was very excited. He wanted us to get out there, throw a couple reserves, not just one, but a couple of them, and then also repack our reserves, and this is an interesting fact. Andy said about 1%, maybe a little bit more, but about 1% of all PPG pilots in the United States have thrown a reserve. That's it. I mean,
that's amazing.
Really, that's small amount.
Amazing numbers.
It's probably true. I was thinking somewhere between 1 to 5, but I mean, very few have thrown it. I'm wondering if Ryan's ever thrown it. We'll ask him in a few moments. But he's stirring in his seat. He's anxious to get out of that green room and come in. Yeah, so it's, how many people have thrown it actually and had to do it in an emergency situation, but more people have obviously done it in an SIV during practice. So that's very cool. So I have a couple announcements about Ready to Paramotor. For a while, I've been saying that the website is coming. It's coming. It's coming. Well, guess what? The website is here, and there it is right there. You can see this beautiful Ready to Paramotor website. It's live. You can go in there and find all the stuff you want, whether it's a paramotor, glider, engines, accessories, t-shirts, hats, everything. And here's the cool thing. You got to check it often. There's so much that we're going to grow this thing. We're going to have a lot of videos on there. Basically things that will teach you things. We're going to have information about not just motors, but training and schools. And we've already got our first partner school already uplisted on the website too. So it's going to keep growing. One other thing too is always getting new accessories. And just today, we've just taken on a whole new accessory. It's not even on the website yet, but let me show this to you. This is the Guardian Angel strobe system. Okay, so as you can see right there, it's a strobe system that goes all the way around the entire unit. The package comes with 3 different strobes. So you've got a red, you've got a green, and you've got a white. So you can put the red and the green. They're magnets or Velcro. They're both. So you can strap them onto your paramotor, or if you want to even put those green and red in your glider, you can do that on the outside cells as well. And it has a remote control. So let's say you got up first thing in the morning, and now you've been flying for an hour. It's after sunset. You don't need the strobes on. You can reach into your flight harness and turn it off. Or maybe you're flying at dusk and you need to turn it on. You can turn it on. So you don't have to waste any batteries on that. And then you can see this is everything that it comes from. That'll be on the website. Matt, what's the price that we said about that?
So the whole set, which includes your port, starboard, and main navigational beacon, plus the remote control, 3 Velcro straps for your paramotor, 3 magnet straps, 3 charging cords, all the instructions, everything as a complete set is $289.95.
There you go. Good deal.
Yeah. But everybody's got to know these things are super bright. So you guys can see these things from miles away.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. Just absolute miles away. But the really cool thing, it's got a bunch of different strobe patterns. I'm using the remote right now. So if these were up on your glider, this was strapped to the top of your paramotor, you can change all the settings. You can group them in a couple of different groups. So you could have a solid white with flashing green and red. This is pretty cool stuff here. And I weighed them in tonight. Okay. Because I thought to myself, okay, if these things, they've got a really strong neodymium magnet on it, but these things only weigh in at 1/10 of a kilogram a piece. So if you put 2 of these on your gliders, I mean, we're not even talking a half a kilogram of added weight with that strong neodymium magnet. You can see these things from miles. This is pretty cool.
Neo what magnet?
Neodymium.
Okay.
Rare earth magnets.
Wow. Okay. So one of the things I want you to put in the chat, if you're watching right now, it doesn't matter what form, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, you can participate in the chat. You're going to have a chance to win a t-shirt or a hat later tonight. Actually, 2 people are going to have a chance to win. I'm going to talk about one's the typical way. You just got to put in whatever hashtag I'm going to throw up on the screen, and I'll put that up in a minute. And then one you're going to have a chance to win when Ryan participates in a new segment, which is a game for him to win and you. But one thing I want to know is 9 o'clock a good time? 9 o'clock Eastern time, or should we switch this to 8? So I'll let you put a comment in the chat. I'll ask that again later on. 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern time? What is a better time for this show to be on Thursday nights? So there you go. Now, without any further ado, I want to bring on Ryan Southwell. I'm going to give him a little intro first. For those of you that don't know him, first of all, if you haven't watched his cinematic genius videos of paramotoring. Okay, I got to stop, man. I'm just... my nose. Okay. A little bit about Ryan. Ryan's been flying for 12 years. He was the first student of the legendary Team Fly Halo. Did you know that, Rick? First team. You did know that. Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, good. He his regular daytime job, he films commercially for major hotels like Ritz-Carlton. His biggest accomplishment, 5 kids. Damn. 5 kids. Okay. And just because of that, that's what tonight's hashtag is. So if you put hashtag 5 kids, capital letters, just like that, you're going to have a chance. He's laughing in the green room. I'm going to bring him in here. There you are. Hi,
hey.
Hashtag 5 kids.
Yeah.
5.
The winning hashtag of the evening. Okay, a little bit more. He completed the Icarus race. He completed the Icarus race. And during that time, he almost went head to head with a 747. You can tell that story later on. Not a people know this about Ryan. He is a well-renowned American folk dance member of the American folk dance team. He knows swing, clogging, and even the Charleston. And he toured all over Europe doing that, right?
How did I tell you that?
Go watch our Pair of Under Nation to find this.
All right.
A couple other things. His license plate says Fly Camper. And lastly, he had an engine out over trees over Mount Shasta with no outs. But I think you were able to restart it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Different time.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Welcome, Ryan Southwell. How are you, buddy?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well.
Whew. Where do we want to start? I guess we could start talking about Iceland, whatever you want to talk about. Well, let's do this. So first of all, what's been going on in the last 4 years? As Rick was pointing out, this guy doesn't even make videos anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of feel like I dropped off the map, which I did. So funny, on YouTube, I dropped off the map. On Instagram, for some reason, I kind of went viral for a bit. And you actually have one of the videos that happened with me. It was an Iceland clip I posted, and then it got picked up by Discovery Channel, Planet Earth, and a couple of big namers. And then my Instagram kind of just blew up. So yeah, temporarily Insta famous kind of felt good for a month.
All right. Any more kids? Are we up to 6?
Oh, no. Well, actually, 2 more. So 2 of my kids got married last year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Both last summer. So that's one more reason why I fell off the map. Life gets busy when you start adding people to your family and that time of your life. So yeah.
But Ryan, I got to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
Man. You got 2 kids that got married. You don't look like you're over 36 years old. So where do you live?
I'm in Southern California right now, kind of near Temecula.
So the law is still 18 years old there. So I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together here to say, why do I look so old and you look so young, but yet you have married kids? That's interesting.
Yeah. No, I turned 50 a couple months ago. So
there you go. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, happy belated.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
Very cool. So while we're on the subject, I think this is something we were going to say for the end, but Rick, all day, phone call after phone call. He doesn't make any videos. We need some videos. Doesn't make any voting. What videos are we having out soon? Where did they come from?
All right. So I got 3 in the works. Big picture, I have a new Iceland one. So you kind of pre-played some of that Iceland one from last time. That's an old one. Mm-hmm. That was just a walk in the park compared to this one. This one's much bigger and better, longer, more scenic, all that. So it's amazing. I'm happy with this. One of my favorite things. After that will be the my final Egypt complete edit will be there, and then the Wingman Adventure will be put out there. So, but the thing about the Iceland one and why it's taken so long, and I've got everybody kind of nicely hounding me on this to say, hey, is it done yet? It's done yet, especially the guys on the trip. Is that there's 9 chapters to it. So what I think I'm going to be doing is taking the full piece. It's about an hour long. So I'll take the whole piece. I'm going to probably find a theater here, rent it out.
Really? And
do just kind of satisfy my own desire to see something on the big screen that I made, something neat about that. And I think I could probably gather a few friends to help fill in some seats, but after that, I will probably release each 9 chapter, 1 a week, for about 2 months or so. And it'll all be there. Some are longer, some are shorter, but it's an adventure. Certainly was.
Do we want to get into some of the Iceland footage that we have? We can
sure.
Do that,
yeah.
Let's take a look and see if I can find it here. I think this is Iceland. Correct me if I'm wrong. And is this some of the new footage? Oop, let's put that back up there. Talk us through what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So these canyons, right? If you can tell, they're massive and they're deep. And if you go fly down inside of those things, you're fully committed, because at the bottom it's a skinny little river that flows, and there's no outs. I mean, you go down, you're in trouble. But a bunch of us kind of were flying down, kind of tailing each other, and that's one of my favorite shots in my video. And once we get to the bottom, I just get on the mic and say, hey, does anybody want to turn around and fly back up? upstream, which is not the best idea because you saw the end right there. It's just a cove at the waterfall, and it's kind of barely big enough to pull a U-turn inside of. So you're committed. But yeah, it was epic, truly epic. Getting down when you get down in there, and most people kind of were flying up above at the rim of the canyon. Yeah, that's Thor's Mork.
Those are amazing pictures.
Wow.
This is nothing. I mean, you're gonna see stuff that's mind blowing. The colors, the everything, and when you're up there, I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, you're like, this can't be true. This, how did I get here?
Yeah, all that. Is this real? You know, yeah. I mean, there's no real words for it that I can express because one, my vocabulary is really small, I feel like, and all I have to say is epic and awesome all the time because but you land and everybody just looks at each other and just starts screaming like, ah, that was so awesome. Incredible.
I did not bring any of this video footage, but it's the last video I believe you did, which was just over a year ago, which was the eclipse.
Oh yeah.
So go check out the eclipse. So that was pretty cool. You got to fly during the eclipse. You flew all the way up to Indiana. Not a paramotor. You flew an airplane up to Indiana, so you could be in the direct path of totality. And but in the video, you start screaming. I believe
I promise you that is 100% legit because I mean, I knew years ahead of time that I was going to do this project, and I wasn't going to miss it. You have to work with the weather, you know. I was going to go to Texas. I think 2 days before, I got an invite to go to Indiana. I'm like, look at the weather. I'm like, let's try it. Let's go. The morning was kind of clouded over. We weren't sure, but me and one other guy went up and we did it, and zero regrets. I was ready to go and just fight the battle if I had to with all the turbulence. And there's no like data out there that would tell you, okay, when the sun disappears in the middle of the day, what's going to happen thermically, right? Is there going to be like a little, switcherooski of airflow and all this? But it went dead calm. The world got dark. It looked like a sunset all on the rim, 360 degrees around you. Wow. Instead of just where the sun was. But it went dark. Stars came out, and if there's ever another one in my lifetime, I'm doing it. Yeah. I am doing it, and I recommend it. It's awesome.
It's so being on the ground. I don't know if the boys here in Florida, I was up in Ohio at the time. I don't know if you guys really got much of it, but being up in Ohio, we got almost totality, almost completely, but it got cold and it got weird. Like the whole scenery was like, this is like a dimension I've never felt. Like, did you feel the same thing up there? Where you get cold and
temperature dropped 10 to 15 degrees. Yeah. So it was like a noticeable shift. Like you walk into a room with the AC on, it's like boom, it got cold pretty quick. And the eeriness of it. I mean, that's kind of the wonder of it all too, because like the birds stopped chirping, and not that you hear those in a motor, but I've been in a few partial eclipses before, and it's a slow dim into like a sepia tone world. Like look at old photographs. It just kind of the lighting, the colors start to disappear, and everything kind of goes orangey, bronzy. And then, but the totality thing is just nuts because even with the tiniest sliver of light from the sun, it's still pretty bright. Like it'll light up the place. But as soon as that goes, it's dark. It went in the matter of seconds from like visible to like boom, dark, wild.
Definitely had to be cool. I just saw this. You had mentioned a second ago about being in the movie theater, renting out a movie theater, and I like this idea from Tony Marzano. He said, "I'd love to have Ryan to put his stuff on the Sphere." He's out in Vegas, and wow, it would definitely be spectacular. Rick, I saw a question right after that. I'll let you read it if I can find it. Here it is from Greg.
Yeah, that doesn't look like GoPro footage. What camera is Ryan using?
Yeah, good question. I shoot with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, and it's bigger, a little bit bigger than your normal DSLR camera, but it shoots in 6K. The footage is amazing. It has some challenges. But I work with that, and I like the quality. It has a raw codec to it, so I could do a lot with the editing and make it just right after the fact.
I didn't see that one at Best Buy or Walmart though.
No, you're not going to see it there.
Not on Amazon.
Probably. They're actually not super expensive. I mean, in my line of work, cameras are, it's what I do. And I have a red camera that costs a lot of money. But for convenience sake and for just almost as good of a quality, I'm shooting with the Blackmagic camera and I'm really happy with it. It works good for me.
Rick, in the last time we interviewed Ryan, he said, and you actually weren't on the show that time, I remember, but he actually said that he learned his video trade on his own. You didn't go to school for this, right? You learned it on your own.
No, my undergraduate degree is in Japanese and I have a MBA. So yeah, it's totally irrelevant.
He learned it from watching PPG Gorilla YouTube channel.
I think I did. Yeah,
I'm sure.
There it is. Let's take a look. All right, what do we got here, Ryan? This is still in Iceland.
Yeah, glaciers. That's a monster right there.
That's a glacier?
Wow. That's a glacier rolling, slowly rolling down a big hill. So there's a story to that. So right after I took this shot, I flew off to the right where it's a little bit smoother and I want to get in close. Now, if you get close up to a glacier, it's cold air. And what happens to cold air is it goes downhill, it flows down, it sinks. And as I'm getting close, because I wanted to see down to those crevasses, and that is wild. Like if you've never stared down the hole into the crevasse before and realized it's another one of those things. If I had a motor out, I'm really screwed or I'm, for sure dead. But I wanted a closer look. So I'm flying in straight at that glacier right there. And as I get closer, like I would normally just kind of do a flyby, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm kind of starting to go down. So I'm full throttle. I'm even pulling on a little brake to see if I can get myself to go. And I'm still sinking and I'm going straight into this glacier. I'm like, oh crap.
Oh my God.
And so I had just enough turn on my left brake that I was able to round out with just barely skimming my feet across the tops of that thing, made that U-turn and was able to coast out. But that was really scary. And that was when I'm like, okay, I'm not going to play it that close anymore while I was on that trip in Iceland. But that lasted about a day and a half and I did it again somewhere else.
Wow. Sure. Got a couple more here in Iceland. I think I got two more. This one.
Oh yeah. It's like the earth is alive. It has its own circular, what do you call it? The cardiovascular system with veins, and it's all just water running through. And it's super trippy to look at. It's alive. I mean, on some of these clips, if you're able to see it in high definition, there's those rougher parts in the riff are flowing, they're moving, and it's wild to see. And so when you get up high and you're looking down, there's something special about Iceland that just has so much variety when it's just this little island rock out in the ocean, So
that's cool. All right, here's our last one from Iceland. Let's take a look at this. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Richard Socher. I don't know if you guys know the guy, but he's pretty good at he's okay to push the limits, and I like that because then I have somebody to film. None of the guys on this trip were like set up models, so I was just trying to put myself in a place to shoot a shot that looked good. And fortunately, Richard and Miro, those guys were willing to go down and get deep and risk it. So, but yeah, it's wild.
That's incredible.
It's wild.
That's
beautiful.
Incredible. So is this all? This is one of these are just segments of the new video that's coming.
Yeah. Those are all from the upcoming film. The working title right now is Over Iceland. If you take the ice and there it's overland. So it was a special trip. It wasn't the typical Icelandic paramotor tour thing that Scout Paramotor does, because this time we paired up into twos and we each had rented a off-road Land Cruiser with a snorkel and everything so that we can do all the river crossings. So we went super backcountry. So we flew in places that anybody who's ever flown there before has never flown before. New places, just remarkable landscape and territory that we got into. And I can't wait to show you guys.
Can't wait.
It's beautiful to watch.
Can't wait. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna give you a little break here because looks like it's that time. You know what time it is?
9:30.
No, Tony.
It's time for Gorilla's Wild World of Wonky Flight Reviews.
You're right, it is 9:30. But it's also that time. Rick is gonna give us a little bit of flight reviews. You got 2 videos. And what's the theme of tonight, PPG Gorilla?
Well, since we're coming into summertime, it's flying over water and ditching in the water.
All right.
And
You're
we're lucky to have Ryan here because Ryan has some extra training with Team Fly Halo, actually going into the water with paramotors on. So
Is that right?
yes. Let's roll those clips, Dave.
There you go. Uh-oh.
All right, so this guy had an engine out. So the first thing he does is he starts unbuckling some of his harness, which I think is a good idea. He tries for a restart. That doesn't work, so he goes ahead and unbuckles the last one, and he's ready for the drink. And you can hear and see his flotation is going off, so fortunately he did have flotation. He was able to get out of his equipment and away from the line, so he's a survivor. Even his phone survived. And he's waving down some nearby boats, I think.
There you go. All right. So, what did you do right? What did you do wrong?
Well, I think it was a good idea to get most of or all of those straps unbuckled. He had time. You only have a few moments before you hit the water, so he got those undone. He tried to restart, that didn't work, and he was ready for the drink when he hit it. What do you think, Ryan?
I think his execution was really great. I don't think I would have done anything different. Well, there's one thing you could do that I always do is that anytime I'm over water, I unbuckle already. I'll leave maybe one leg attached.
Really?
Yeah, I'll unbuckle my chest. So I'll unbuckle my chest strap. I'll unbuckle my waist buckle and maybe leave both legs in or take one leg out. Because when you're sitting in your harness, really, they don't do anything for you to keep you in your seat when you're flying. So
yeah, you're not going to fall out.
Yeah. If I know I'm going to be over water, for any that I can't coast back over to land on, then I'll definitely unbuckle ahead of time. But no, the right move was good there. If you don't have to deal with that underwater, then your success rate of living is, astronomically higher. If you just hit the water and you're already out, then boom. Yeah, that was very well done. The fact that it already had flotation was great. Yeah.
And firsthand that it can be difficult to get those buckles undone underwater, especially if you have gloves on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the best thing that I had experience with in the training with Team Fly Halo when we jumped in the water with the motors on and everything was that learning what works and what doesn't work. So what I did it the first time, I had gloves on and I learned that, and I could get my lower waist and my leg buckles undone, but I couldn't get my chest strap because with the dexterity of your fingers, the little plastic buckle up here, I couldn't feel it. So I just struggled to get that off. And eventually I had, and I got out and I said, okay, if I ever go in the water where I'm still buckled and I'm dressed, first thing that's happening is I'm pulling the gloves off. That way you can actually get the old buckles off and do that. But the biggest benefit, I think, to having that experience and that training of jumping in the water is just knowing that you've done it before. Because I think what gets every single person who will do it, panic sets in. If you're underwater and you've got a thing on you and you're buckled in, you start to panic, your heart rate rises. And when that happens, you just burn through all of your oxygen. Another thing that I do, it might sound really weird, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wim Hof. They call him the Iceman, the crazy guy who does all these breathing exercises and he's, swims under ice and all that stuff. But I've learned from him a lot about how to pre-oxygenate your body. And if you to just right now hold your breath, and you can probably do it casually, 45 seconds to a minute. But if you were to sit here and to the point of nearly hyperventilating and just do that, you can change it to 3 minutes automatically, no problem. So I do that little exercise when I'm flying over water as well. And I know it seems dumb, but whenever I'm over, just in case, I just start my breathing, I'll unbuckle right here. And that way I feel a lot better about worst case scenario.
It's a great idea.
But if you're going in, panic is what's going to get you. Everybody will know how to eventually get themselves out of the harness. But worst case scenario, I mean, we had guys on average, we're all doing it with no experience under 20 seconds. Everybody can hold your breath for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're panicking, you're just digging yourself in a deeper hole. So if you just say, I got this, stay calm, one buckle at a time, click, next buckle, feel it, find it, click, and just stay calm. It doesn't take that long to get out.
Yeah.
So,
yep. And there was a question in the chat from Greg Laney about Andrew Fuller has a quick release that he sews on harnesses for people, where you pull one release and it releases all of your harnesses. As a matter of fact, I think Matt had one of those installed while we were at Bad Apples.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. Quick release.
Yeah, I did get one of those installed for whenever that day comes that Rick and I go flying over the beach areas. He's been promising me that for like 6 months, but now that I'm foot launching again, kind of, maybe that'll happen sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we move on to that next, the other video, I want to say this because I did edit these down a little bit, and at the very end of that video, I'm sad that I took it out, but he says, "Not again." I thought that was. Wait, how does this happen to you in the water? So, you ready for number 2, Ricky?
Yes.
Here it comes.
This was quite a few years ago, but it was actually at Siesta Key, close to where we fly. That happened pretty quick. Here you can hear his inflators, his inflation going off. And he looks pretty calm.
He looks like he just got off a motorcycle the way he's dressed.
Yeah.
Is that or a Vegas?
And he had 4 or 5 guys saw him go down and swam out to give him an assist if he needed it, but he got out of it pretty well, and it went pretty well. Having that flotation I think is really key, really important if you're going to be flying over the water. It happens quick. He was down in the water in 5 or 6 seconds, so just be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for those reviews, those Gorilla Wild Wacky Flight reviews. Appreciate it, buddy. Good job. Good job. All right, Mr. Southwell, we are back to you. Did we see this one from Iceland? I think we saw that one. Yeah, we saw that one.
Yep.
Okay, good. So let's go over. We're going to skip over to Egypt, right? So before we actually get into some of those, let's take a look at this quick video here. There you go, Matt Gregg. Not one person using wheels. Everybody foot launching. Ryan, tell us about Egypt Gate 7. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us?
Oh, that's me. Oh yeah. Well, gee, where to start? They have their own team guys that will have wheels there, but that's for them. I didn't want to maybe volunteer that information, but but yeah, everybody there who is a guest of that trip is a foot launcher. So, boy, when I went, so Egypt Gate 5, and it was, and I don't know if people are aware, but everybody familiar with the October 7th situation with Gaza and Israel and all that stuff. This was 2 days after that. And I don't know if people are familiar with how that attack happened, but it was how'd you say, an armed paramotor went to town on people, and that was a horrific event. But this was just days after that, and we're flying into Egypt to go which is, Cairo is right there, just almost in the eyesight distance of where all that was happening. And we're going to fly around paramotor. So I was a bit sketched out on, is Are they going to freak out if they see us flying around some of their national monuments? Is this going to be an issue? But it wasn't. And they reassured us before the trip. And the guys who run the show there are very professional. They're great guys. Had a great time with them. I'm sure there's a lot to work with. They have a struggle with updating gear and getting gear into the country. So they do their best to maintain with the older stuff that they got, to put it kindly, actually. But what I trade, flying an older unit that had issues and barely got me off the ground to go fly over the pyramids, heck yes, I do that. It's one, I had been to them. I've been there before. I had seen them, and I was kind of like, Egypt. Yeah, I've seen it, been there, done that. Didn't need to go back until they talked to me. I got this invitation to go back again to fly. And now I'm like, I'm not sure with all the recent events, but I did it. And man, that first time you get up in the air and you're flying, inches over the top of the pyramids, game over. I mean, it's nuts, and nuts on so many levels. And I don't know which direction you want me to go with this, but man, spiraling down and doing a little loop-de-loop through the face of the Sphinx to like, they said, don't touch them, don't foot drag them or anything like that. And I didn't, but you get really close. You can get close and they don't care. But nuts. The morning sun coming up over the desert. It's red, orange skies, and you're right there at dawn, and you're crossing over, you're looking straight down. The precision on these things is so exact. You start to really wonder about that alien theory because it's too good. It's too good. I mean, it's and that was just the first couple of days of the trip.
Well, I'm looking forward to this, man. It's so now they had an option where I could either bring my own gear or fly their gear. So I chose to bring my own gear. That's not going to be too terribly difficult, you think?
Have you flown or traveled with your gear before?
No, but I figured I'd buy one of them big hard Pelican cases and put some trackers in there and hope to God it's there when I get there.
Well, if you get it past your initial inspection through, I guess, their scanners from your departing airport, you're probably in the clear. The problem is if there's any hint of a gasoline odor anywhere, they'll probably nix you on the whole thing. And I know guys who they take their fuel tanks out, or they'll find a way to get a new tank there. But Egypt, you're not going to be able to do that. So they deodorize everything. Take the carb off, take it apart, claim it as parts, because you can't legally fly with, I guess, an assembled engine of any sort. So if you take some bits and pieces off of it, disassemble it as comfortably as you can, and clear all oil, gasoline smell off of it, then that's the way to go. That's the way to go. So,
Right. How was the temperature there?
The temperature?
Yeah.
The morning flights were great. You might leave with a light jacket. By midday, mid-morning, you're getting warm. It's getting pretty warm. So the other locations, you spend a couple of days at the pyramids. Then you go off out into the desert and fly to a place. Actually, it's almost identical to the Salton Sea. They have this Dead Sea out there, and it's like beach flying, smooth airs, and there's some little ancient ruins you can fly out to nearby, almost sand dune like type stuff. So that's a really cool desert vibe, and you get to hang out with like the local Bedouin guys you sit in their tents, carpet rugs everywhere. They make food, you're eating all that. So I think one of the best parts about these types of trips is integrating with the culture and being part of it all. You really feel like they're there playing with their little flutes and little instruments and
how does that go again?
They charm the snakes. But no, they just live there. That's what they do. And we're kind of like guests showing up, and we're going to fly around and do this thing. And they kind of, I guess they'd like us to come and participate. But
well, so you get these State Department warnings, for Americans traveling abroad.
Yeah.
Was there any issues that you had to worry about, or were things pretty calm?
No, pretty calm. Unless you're traveling with anything that's like super expensive or something you need to declare. customs in Egypt might have issues. Like the first time I went there was for work, and they confiscated my my camera gear. I got it back, but it was a little bit of a hassle. So but most places have kind of eased up on that recently, I think, especially places like, Saudi Arabia, whatever. But most places have kind of been like, all right, cool. Let's just, we want people to come in. So don't be so hard on them. But if you do have any, I don't know what that kind of medicine would be, but people got sick. Yeah. So I'd be prepared for that. Bring a little thing or two.
Don't
Yeah.
drink the water is what you're saying?
No, definitely don't drink the water.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you. How was the food?
Egyptian food's great. Yeah, no, it's super tasty. You kind of we went on a little cruise down the Nile on this boat thing, and they had some the Dancy girls come out and they do their thing, and it's all fun, and they feed you. So yeah, that's pretty good. You're
Why do you think people got sick?
I think it was when we ate with the local folks out in the desert.
Okay.
But or it could have been the water. I'm not sure exactly, but it was like, I mean, there are guys in schools that bring a whole bunch of people over that were part of that tour, which was really cool. I didn't know anybody except for Rob Candela and another guy from Northern California here. Other than that, I knew nobody, and there weren't too many other English-speaking people. So it was kind of like, got stuck to our clan. But it was fun. There's guys from Brazil, other groups in Europe, but some of those guys were actually prepared. They're calling my drug dealers because I'm like, I'm sick, I need something. And the guy's like, I got something for you. Like, here, take a couple of these and help me out. Oh, Jonathan Carr, he was a true champ too. Supported me a lot too on that trip. So
Ryan, we've got 4 clips here. Are these from the last Egypt trip you had?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at a couple of them here. They're gonna be very narrow.
Yeah, there's your sunrise. I mean, that's what this guy. So there's this haze, that just kind of blankets the land. You don't see the whole city of Cairo right there. Like the pyramids are right there up against it. So from one angle, you see the desert, the pyramids, the classic beautiful shot. Turn around, buildings. Your desert buildings. Looks like you're in Aladdin. All that stuff. So, but yeah, that's just a morning vibe. And some of these other ones they're kind of the more close up. Look down, seeing them, pretty incredible.
Well, so Rob was next to us at Bad Apples.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's going to be at Egypt Gate this year.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm going to be there, and I won't have your camera gear, but I did, and I bought that what's the camera that trails behind your wing?
The chase cam.
Chase cam. So I bought the chase cam, and I also Rob sells this really cool magnet thing for a GoPro to attach to your wing. So hopefully I'll get some decent shots to make it worth the trip. But
the chase cam's cool. Yeah. Fly with the chase cam ahead of time so you kind of know the distances, because for every wing is a little bit different. If you have a slower wing, it's gonna drag a little bit lower, and if it's in your prop wash, you're gonna get this on your chase cam a lot. And there's only so much the GoPro can do to stabilize that. So if you have a faster wing, it kind of falls back higher and stays above your prop wash, and it stays a little bit smoother. Or you can shorten that line a little bit.
Okay, cool. Sorry to interrupt your video clip there.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is gorgeous.
Oh, that motor. So there's the good and there's the bad with the trip. I shared a rented motor with another guy or two, and that was the hardest part. I mean, as cool as that is, I had to wait my turn to do that. And the first day, and I got all my camera gear, right? And I'm just jonesing for the best light. I want to get out there. I want to shoot right at sunrise, the best shots, best lighting. And this other guy jumped in front of me, and he got that motor that I was supposed to fly. And I'm like, oh, so I'm sitting there waiting. The wind's picking up. I'm like, crap. But the next day I'm like, I'm first. I don't care. I'm putting myself in that first seat. So I kind of had to do that. And then after a while, they had motors that didn't work, and I'm like, guys, I can't fly. You can't give me a motor that works. But they were really cool. They switched me over to a new motor, that one there was a triple prop. The thing weighed, I don't know, had to be twice as much as my Scout. It was so heavy. And you don't know, you don't do any hang point tests beforehand, right? So I get up in the air.
Oh my God.
I was if you play that clip again, you'll see the motor was like this.
Oh.
And you you throttle up, you're like, you feel that torque just like turn you. You're like, no, this isn't good. So that was a shorter flight. I'm like, I did my thing. I saw it. I filmed what I could. I'm out. I was getting a little bit sketchy. And so
earlier when you were telling Matt, these are the challenges you're going to have if you bring your own motor. Now it sounds like you'd recommend to bring your own motor, so you're not fighting with somebody else to get one. Or
if I could do it again, I'd have my own motor.
Wow.
If I could figure out how to wait that I knew it was going to get there and not run into problems. I mean, you have to assemble and do all that work, but man, the trade-off to being able to fly when you want, as long as you want, because they limit you. Your flights, if you're sharing a motor, you get 30 minutes. And then,
fortunately, Matt's sitting on about 18 brand new paramotors, so it won't be a problem.
That's awesome.
19.
Yeah. No, but going down south to the Luxor, where you see some of them ancient pillars, you see Queen Hatshepsut's temple thing. The ancient ruins, flying over the Nile. Foot dragging the Nile with Rob was epic. There's a sunken ship turned on its side, sticking out of the water. You can drag the side of the ship, and it's a lot of fun. It's another one of those, like, is this real? Am I here right now doing this? Super cool.
I stayed at the Luxor once. Nice casino. All right, let's look at the next video.
From a distance. So the one thing, this was wild. The parallax on this, as you crest over the top, boom, like you can just, wow. It's like your gut drops. It's just so incredible. Yeah.
Someone asked earlier, thermal activity in the desert.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So you got that.
Yeah.
حلفك لا تمشي للدور حلفك لا تمشي للدور زين على زين على زين نور على هلا هيا
Rob.
I'd like to thank you for the demonetization now that it just got copyright infringed on that song. Appreciate it.
No, that was live music. So you're all in the clear, but you notice that fancy footwear?
Yeah,
I fly with Crocs. It was awesome.
Oh, there you go.
It's almost as good as bare feet.
So was there any other questions, Ricky, in the chat for Ryan in regards?
Yeah, there was a question from Will. How close can you get to the pyramids? But then the video clip, I think, answered that. Space Cowboy Brock Howland asked if they drank a lot of chai tea over there, the kind they want you to come and sit down with them. And
yeah.
Very cool.
Is there a special chai tea that I don't know about?
Man, when I was in Jordan, you go into stores, you drink tea of all kinds of things you'd never heard of before, man.
Yeah, coffee and tea.
I assume it's the same way there in Egypt.
Yeah.
IFIT thinks you control the questions and answers, David. He doesn't realize how impromptu this is.
I control everything.
He can kick us out, IFIT. He can kick us into the green room if he wanted to.
I am an egomaniac. I have masculine. Never mind. Anyways.
Maniac room.
Okay, so Ryan, it is time to create you as a guinea pig. We're going to do this whole new segment, and this segment is called Getting to Know You.
What's your favorite song? Coffee or tea? Where do you belong? Spill the beans, let's see the real you. Getting to know you. Ooh, ooh.
All right, guys didn't like that song.
No, and eating the fries making me a little hungry.
All right, so here's how this is going to work. This is a game, all right? And so Ryan, Matt, what is Ryan going to win if he wins this game?
What should we give Ryan? So he lives in Temecula, California. It's a little cold out there, so I'm gonna say, it's summertime. He's got his choice for him: t-shirt, hat, or hoodie.
Do I get to choose?
Yeah.
You get to choose.
Ooh, hoodie.
But hoodie is the choice. Is that what you want? The hoodie?
Sure. Whatever you want. I'm
No,
game
it's
for anything.
it's your choice. But here's the deal. So if I understand the game right, if you win tonight, then you also win for somebody in the audience, right?
That's right. So the audience has to put that right there, hashtag 5KIDS, all capital letters. Put that, and then you'll be eligible in the randomizer. Okay. So if Ryan wins this game, you will also win the same prize. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's how the game works. You guys want me to play the jingle again, or are we okay? We're okay on the jingle.
No, don't play that again.
All right.
Ever.
Okay.
Sorry.
As you can see in the top right-hand corner of your screen, there is a 90-second clock, and I will start that clock. And I'm going to ask you 25 questions. My advice for you is a one-word answer. If you get through all 25 questions before the clock hits 0, you and some other lucky person will win. Are you ready to play? What did I call it? Getting to know you. Are you ready to play Getting to Know You, Ryan?
Let's do this.
Are you nervous? You look nervous.
Yes, I'm sweaty. Let's go.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
One word answers. Here we should have background music, but we don't. All right, here we go. And the clock begins now. First question. Toilet paper, do you put it over or under?
Over.
You believe in aliens? Yes or no?
No.
If you got abducted by an alien, what is the first word you would say to them?
Yo.
Do you put pineapple on pizza?
No.
Oh my goodness. Nickname as a kid, what was it?
Snowboy.
We'll come back to that later. Do you sing in the shower?
No.
Your favorite smell?
Lavender.
First crush's name?
Lindy.
Oh wow, you're good at this. What's the most? What emoji do you use the most?
Thumbs up.
All right, we better hurry up here. Superpower wish. What's your superpower wish?
Fly.
Do you snore?
Yes.
What is your secret talent?
Clogging.
Your biggest fear? Oh my
Falling
God.
out of the sky.
Clowns, are they funny or creepy? Faster.
Both.
Okay, guilty pleasure food.
Hamburger.
Celebrity you'd like to hug?
Brad Pitt.
Oh my gosh. What is your favorite dance move?
Backflip.
Favorite body part on yourself? 15
Bicep.
Socks in bed?
Nope.
Weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Sheep face.
Last lie.
Never have.
Zombie apocalypse weapon. You just did.
Bow and arrow.
Oh, we're at 1 second. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this. Childhood hero.
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, good one. Late night snack.
Moon brew.
And most overused word. Hurry. What do you say?
Epic.
Epic.
Did he beat the clock? I think he beat the clock.
Yeah,
He did. He did.
That we 25 too many questions.
It wasn't me. It was the reader.
Congrats.
Yeah, I think it was David, but yeah, congratulations. So what is it? Is it a hat, a shirt, a hoodie? What are you choosing?
I love hoodies. Let's go with the hoodie.
We'll go with the hoodie. All right.
Okay,
Hoodie
so
it is.
you the last time you lied was tonight. I never lie.
Oh, no. Where?
And did you eat the sheep face in Egypt?
No, Iceland.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite smell? Lavender. So I don't know if you've ever had a chance. It's Fly My PPG used to run their flight school in Michigan. Well, obviously in Michigan, but right outside of the airport, they had lavender fields and mint fields.
Ooh.
And that was the greatest smell I ever. Flying over those lavender and mint fields was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, those are the two things I have growing in my backyard right now, are lavender and mint.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, it's a toss-up. You know, they're all my favorites. Everything out there. I mean, orange blossoms when they're in season are insanely awesome too.
Yeah,
So
love that.
yeah, we have orange groves when we fly over them. It's awesome.
Good. Tony, Rick, Matt, do you feel like you know Ryan a little bit better after playing Getting to Know You?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we know him so well. Yeah, but I wanted to ask, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I was thinking to myself when you asked him the question if he ever told a lie or something like that. Like when his wife said, "Hey, honey, I'm pregnant with the 5th child. Are you excited?" Did he tell the truth or did he lie?
No, at that point you're kind of like, it's another one.
He does have twins.
I
He does
do.
have. Was it one set of twins?
One set of twins. Yeah.
Okay. So I noticed Tony Marzano. You guys got to put it exactly like you can't write out 5 kids like this. You got to put it exactly like I put it there, where it says 5 kids.
Sorry, Tony.
Hashtag 5 kids. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, and then we're gonna spin that randomizer. How are we doing? You okay on time, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and go to the randomizer, which is right here. And we're going to spin it. We're going to see who else wins. What'd you say, Matt? A hoodie?
A hoodie's what he chose. So it's hoodies going out.
So we got 14 people that correctly did it. Let's see who wins tonight. It's going to be Ken Lewis. Look at that nice picture of Ken flying right there.
Congratulations.
Good job, Ken.
Awesome. Congrats. And Ken, you owe Ryan. You owe Ryan big time on that. So Ken,
Yeah.
it's good. There's the email right there, sales@ready2paramotor.com. That'll go directly to Matt. You can go ahead and email him your address as well as your hoodie size that you would like. Congratulations to both of them. And then Ryan, we'll have to get that from you as well, so we can send that out to you as well.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Fun game. Wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't so bad.
Timer was ticking off. I saw the sweat. Let's get to the last part of tonight, which we are going to talk about Wingman Adventure. So we don't have videos, but we do have some pictures, right?
Yeah.
What is Wingman Adventure? Why don't you explain that?
Wingman Adventure was kind of the spin-off from the Icarus race. So the Icarus race was all about, first place wins kind of a deal. So push yourself, push the limits, no matter the conditions, dangerous, whatever, you fly, you go. And that was kind of missing the point that we thought when Miro put it together. So he started the Wingman Adventure where there's 3 sections, and there's a checkpoint at the end of each one where you would spend 3 days to get to the end of the next checkpoint. And you can take any path you want, whatever it takes to get there, you get there. It's all unassisted. Not necessarily a race. So it was fostering more get out there, experience more adventure type of experiences. And one thing that me and my wingman did, Caleb Johnson, great guy, very, very smart with a lot of stuff. So and Richard Socher joined in for us for a bit of that too. But we had planned to fly camp all along the way, whereas other people found a way to either stay in a camper, which was discouraged, or stay in a hotel.
They cheated.
So, in my eyes, it's kind of cheating, but they still did it. They still did the flights, got there. But we packed our tents, our bags, all the food, the water. Well, not enough water again. But yeah, that's such an incredible experience because we would pick a spot and fly. We're staying there tonight. Like, oh, the weather's getting bad later, so why don't we stop here? And we'll, we really have to do a lot of flight planning and figure stuff out. So we ended up staying in places that had, we had probably more experiences than everybody else had in that trip as far as camping out and flying and camping, pick up, fly out to the next spot, fuel, fly out to the next spot, camp out. Just crazy stuff that whole trip. Sand dunes, caves, all the things in Utah. If you've ever flown in Utah, there's just so much. There's so much to go, and it's a long trip. It's like 1,000 miles ultimately in the end.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy long.
It is.
Wow. By the way, I wanted to ask you, because one of the things that we're looking to build with Ready to Paramotor is to bring more families in together. Does any of your kids fly yet, or your wife?
No, not yet. I got a couple of kids who are really anxious to do it. So, yeah, the time's just about there to get them in the air.
What's
So
been holding them back, you or them?
Both. When they were younger, it was probably me. Just because I didn't want that on my shoulders in case something went bad, But now they're older. Yeah, I know 3 of my kids at least really, really want to do it. And I think they all will. So
heck yeah, man. It's more fun with your family. It really is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's take a look at some of these pictures here and tell us what we're seeing.
Mono Lake, just outside of Mammoth, California. We kind of started up near Lake Tahoe area, and then the first checkpoint was going to be down south near Vegas. The weather got horrible, and a few other guys on this trip, they took full collapses. Trevor Steele, Judson, that was, all those things where people couldn't fly because they're trying to launch on small wings with all up with your gear. Just your gear is about 130 pounds with everything on you. It's nuts, and extra fuel. And so, yeah, we made it to this one spot. You're flying next to wild horses, just running, and you're like, where am I? I think this is the true Wild West. But Mono Lake, really interesting landscape there, but we had to land out and call it. And so we just camped out, found some random wood, and in the middle of nowhere, nobody's around, nothing around you, except for the tufas that come out. They're cool looking too. But that was just the beginning of the adventure. The first flight just about killed everybody. It was wild.
Is anybody else thinking like, I think it's pretty cool when I fly, but then I see these adventures and these pictures, I'm like, yeah, but it's nothing compared to what Ryan has.
It's I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I still do it. Like when I did the Icarus race, I had to fly through some crazy stuff, dodge airplanes and things, and fly through all kinds of turbulence and the fire smoke in the air. It was wild, and I think I'm never doing this again. And then short memory, you're out there doing it again. But there's something addicting about really, taking the paramotor can do stuff that nothing else can. You go places, you can see things and the way you see them and how you get there, where you can land and where you can get off again. Nothing compares to the paramotor and doing that and those experiences, and if you can camp out and stay the night and just make it a thing, next level. It's fun.
What you got here?
Yeah. Somewhere, Valley of Fire, north of Vegas. So this is in the second leg. We landed out at this place because it's called the Seven Keyholes, I believe. And you can kind of Google it and find some images, but it's out there. There's dirt roads that are hard to find to get to this place. This is another place where I almost died. We were trying to take off and then this is where I totally blew it. There's like rocks that are embedded. There's sharp rocks that are embedded into like the hard clay surface, and I had one line got snagged on it, and it was pulling from underneath, and I got it, and it pushed in on my frame, which caught a prop, which pulled on the thing, and it blew up my frame and snapped the prop all the way through. And those are the other two guys were in the middle of nowhere. And this were end of the day, last flight to try to get up to Mesquite, if you know where that area is at all. But I had like this much water left in my water bottle. And I'm like, you guys go ahead. So they circled around, airdropped me their water. And I said, I'll find my way out of this mess. And that was part of the rules of the Wingman Adventure is you don't hit the distress call unless you're, in critical situation. You have to find your way out. And there was nothing around. And I think it's a miracle to this day that I had cellular reception, that I was able to send out an emergency message on Facebook saying, I'm stranded. Does anybody around the Vegas area have an ability to come to this pinpoint and rescue me? And I had guys they were in the works. They're getting up all these guys with sand rails and all the off-road stuff. And Brad Roper happened to be flying at the Valley of Fire, which was in a straight line 17 miles away. And he's like, I'm in a flight right now, but when I land, I call you or something. And so he responded. And I know he was driving back up north to St. George that night, which is where I needed to go. And it took him 4 hours on dirt road to get to me. And it's one of those things where like, hey man, you're a forever friend for going this far out of your way to come rescue me. And I was out of water. I was 24 miles on a dirt road to get back to the highway. And it was over 100 degrees. So it's one of those things where if I start walking now, I won't make it. And if I walk at nighttime and try to keep my pace low and I might be able to preserve enough sweat and water where I can make it. But it was truly a do or die kind of situation where you're stranded and you're screwed.
You were Chevy Chase in Vacation, weren't you?
Yeah.
Walking with your pants over your head and
my God.
Yeah, eventually. But I got saved at the end of the day by Brad, and he's a man for doing that.
There you go. All right. Let's take a look at this one here.
The morning after Mono Lake, we try to fly out to get to Mammoth, the hot springs. That was part of our adventure. We're going to land at all the hot springs and have a great time. But that morning looked good on paper and on our apps. We get in the air and you're putting 5 miles an hour in to the headwind, and like, we're not going anywhere. It's getting tossy. And that was like a 10-minute flight. And that was it for the day. We had to call it. And so it was like set up camp again. And yeah, that's what it looked like when we can get gas. You literally have to find these gas stations that are close to nothing, so you can land somewhere without hitting power lines. And you walk up. Yeah, that's after I blew up my unit and everything. So I was posing.
Last one here. I think that's one we saw.
Yeah, that was like the first one.
There you go. That's the one.
Yeah, Southern Utah.
Crazy.
That was awesome. Something, I mean, nobody's ever done that there. And you're literally in that Wild West landscape. Beautiful. You know, you have access to water, a little trickle of a river off there to the side. Huge things. So huge mountains, cliffs, landscape. I mean, you don't get that doing normal stuff. And, you know, and I've flown Midwest. It's flat. I've flown the beaches. It's the beach. There's cool things about all those, but man, when you get out there into the Wild West, the mountains and that landscape, the variability they have there, it's wild. It's so fun. It's adventurous.
Very cool. So I want to ask you, what's the next adventure?
Next venture on books is going back to Iceland this summer.
Okay. There you go.
Super excited for it. And I told him last time, I said, hey, if I'm coming back to do this again, I'm going to leave my cameras home because like as you probably see from all those shots from earlier on in the program, I'm filming and I got a big monitor on my lap right here that I'm watching as I'm controlling my camera on the gimbal that's out here. And I'm seeing it through my monitor. I'm living the whole trip without like looking up, looking around unless I'm about to hit a glacier. So you I kind of enjoyed that trip vicariously. But this time I'm going to look at it. I'm going to turn on some tunes and just vibe out and fly for fun. I might take some photos, but that's easy stuff. Doesn't take too much work to do photos, but video is just, it consumes too much of your energy and mental ability to try to do both fly and film at the same time. It's a lot of work.
And that's going to go to my last question that I had here was, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, I go back and I just mentioned this recently that Kyle Oakley, when I was first starting to fly, he sent me a message. He goes, don't worry about the camera, just learn how to fly first.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people out there. They're so gung ho about making videos and they're more focused on their cameras and their shots than they are about flying. Well, so what's your advice to some of the, maybe the 1 or 2 year old, 2 year olds, 1 or 2 year old pilots, I should say, you know, been flying for 1 or 2 years when it comes to cameras? And yeah, I'm okay, no problem with someone like where Matt puts it on a selfie stick and he sets it and forgets it. But what about the guy that's like trying to do all this extra crazy stuff?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is to just have a head mount camera and a shoe mount camera. Keep it simple. I think you got to learn how to use the tools. You can make something really awesome with just a GoPro and your phone. You really can. But I mean, hands off is the biggest thing that I learned quickly. Well, I would try to get too complicated with gear too early on in my years of flying. And some of you may have heard me tell this story before, but I was flying with Shane Denherter and a couple of other guys out at the Salt Flats in northern Utah. Beautiful white, crystal ground, really great place to fly. And I had my camera set. Oh no, this is before I was handheld with video, and he was doing a sat in front of me, and I was brakes up. I've got my hands on my camera, and I'm kind of following him in, and naturally, because you're kind of like this, I started slowly drifting this way. He's just doing his sat, and I'm going right at him, so it's getting closer and closer. And by the time I kind of realized my situation, the back of his wing on his sat nearly clipped my feet. Wow. And had I been a little bit more over or whatever, that could have been disastrous. And I don't know why I always get myself in these positions, but that was the day I decided I will never film again without making flying my first priority, no matter what. So always hands on. I'm never going to film anything without my hands on both brakes at all times. And that's how I've been ever since then. So if you can learn how to take your GoPro on your helmet, first learn how to get your steady shots, control your head movement. You're not doing this, the whole trip, learn to just be like, I'm going to do a pan from here to here. Just keep your head steady for a bit. And I got a shoe mount thing that goes in my laces. I've put a GoPro in there before, and you can just point your foot, up, down. It's really great. Your ankle does a really good job. And then you can have automatic horizontal leveling on the GoPros too. So it works. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with just GoPros, and just I keep it that simple.
Yeah.
Don't get complicated. It gets hard, and eventually you start to hate it. It's more work. It's just more work.
Let's do this. Let's give away one more thing, and then any last minute questions, and then we'll get to wrap up here. Is that okay? Good. I'm glad everybody agrees. That's a great idea. All right, hold on 1 second. Let's get back over here. Last chance to win a prize for the night. We're gonna draw again. You ready, Matt? Matt, let's do a T-shirt. Can we do a T-shirt this time? Matt, is anybody there? Efat, sweet.
Efat, good.
Efetist wins.
He's a great model for our shirts, so that's awesome. So
he is.
So Efat, go to our website, look at our under apparel, look at our T-shirts, pick out whatever T-shirt you want, and send me an email with your address and your size, and we'll get one of those out to you.
There you go. Any last questions from the panel for Mr. Ryan?
This is an amazing show, and the pictures you had, Ryan, was mind-blowing.
Thank you. More to come.
They don't look real, man. So your experiences are like over the top. That's awesome, dude.
So when should we expect the next video?
Summer.
That's
sure when. I'm
2 days from now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm trying to hit the deadline for the Kupikar Film Festival submission, which is coming up. So if all goes well, I'll have a film in that guy, and then I'll start releasing these things, one a week.
Let me know if you get one in there, because if you do, I'm not going to even bother. So there's that.
Oh, I don't know if I will. I got a lot to do. So I have color grading and sound design, all that stuff to finish up with. So,
well, David is becoming quite the cinematographer. Are you going to show? Can you show the video you did today?
Which one? The
one for one of our new partnerships with Off-Grid Throttle.
I'll see if I can pull that up. It might be difficult, but let me see if I can. Why don't we talk about Off-Grid real quick, and I'll see if I can't find it here. It might take me a second. Go ahead.
Ryan, do you fly with Off-Grid Throttle, or what do you fly with?
Yeah, Off-Grid Throttle. I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's look at David's new cinematography. This is phenomenal cinematography.
There's a. There you go. One more time.
Yeah.
So
cheesy.
There we go. Flash down.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a very big cup.
I like how you tucked your head at the last second there to get in there.
I was gonna hold my nose, but
so
we will have off-grid throttles on every paramotor that we sell, which is because I've been flying with one for 2 years. Absolutely love mine. Ryan, you love yours.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
very reliable.
Very reliable, and the cruise is awesome.
Yeah, so I fell in love with off-grid throttle because of their kill switch protection guard. So when I was going through flight training, I had this bad habit of hitting the kill switch accidentally on takeoff, whether it was my thumb or hitting it on the risers. But they had this really great kill switch guard on there that I like because, I have this whole self-preservation factor. And since I had a problem with it, I think it's great. Yeah, kill switch was my nickname for a while. I think that was after faceplant.
Aslandia.
Aslandia. Yeah, when I was in training with my brother, it was welcome to Aslandia because that's where we always ended up. But yeah, that kill switch guard is awesome on there. Yep. And safety is one of our foremost concerns. So we made the decision to partner with Off-Grid and no looking back.
It's awesome. I must have been an early adopter because mine doesn't have that safety blocker on it. Yeah. I might have to buy a new one from Ready to Paramotor.
There you go.
There you go. They're on our website.
On the website. Buy one, buy many. You got
Yeah.
a bunch of kids that are ready to go. All right.
Yeah, we actually had a joke, David, I didn't tell you about, but over the weekend we had Lance out at Florida Flight Sports, and he was talking about how he never wants to break a prop again. So we came up with this idea for a T-shirt that says "Support your local dealer, break a prop."
Mhm.
So
That's
hopefully
good.
get some prop sales out of it.
I have to make a T-shirt out of that. I love it. All right, we will be back on in 2 weeks, but hopefully all of us will. We're going to be throwing reserves here over the weekend from about 3,000 feet with Andy Fuller. So there's that. That'll be exciting, and that'll be some stories. Tony,
How many feet?
probably 3,000, 2 or 3,000. That's probably that's
half
good.
a mile.
It's not a big deal. It's just
Tony goes first, right? Tony goes
You
first.
said you wanted to go first. There you go. Tony's going to go first. Rick, you excited about that?
Heck yeah, I'm ready.
Matt's hoping they forget about it.
Can I drink too much the night before and use it as an excuse to back out?
Hey,
We already have
calm
a
down.
curfew. Andy gave us a curfew.
Calm down.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
We'll see you again in 4.5 years. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching tonight. Have a great weekend coming up, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Get ready, get ready. Get ready, get ready. Power, 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 power. Power, power. Pressure, 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 pressure. Now fly, 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 fly. It's time, yes, it's time. It's time for ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Power. Power, power. Pressure, 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 pressure. Now fly, 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 fly. It's time, yes, it's time. It's time for ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. Ready, 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 ready to paramotor live. To paramotor live, paramotor live. Ready to paramotor live. To paramotor live, paramotor live. Paramotor live.
I saw Crystal dancing around to it.
Oh, was she?
Looks like Ryan dropped off. That's okay.
Good. It's fun.
What'd you guys think?
Good show.
Good show.
It was an excellent show.
Yeah.
Dave, I got to tell you, those pictures you had on there from Ryan,